The HK USP, or Universal Self-Loading Pistol. I'm not even going to try to pronounce the German word. Introduced in 1993, it had features far ahead of its time and chunky proportions without being borderline offensive like the HK Mark 23. Personally, I've been excited for the Tokyo Marui full-size USP since I heard its announcement last year. Yes, the USP Compact has been out for a couple of years now, and the HK45 is admittedly a little bit more ergonomic. But for me, the USP full-size is the definitive HK pistol. What's going on? Vincent here, coming at you from the land of the North. That's right, I brought it back. Let's take a look at the all-new release from Japanese brand Tokyo Marui. But first, a couple things to get out of the way. Firstly, it's not simply an upscaled version of the USP Compact. There are similarities, of course, but overall, inside there's not a lot of shared parts between the two, and magazines are not cross-compatible. Another thing, for those who don't know, Tokyo Marui only makes plastic slide pistols. But don't be fooled into thinking that they have a weak kick or they'll break easily. It might not be moving the same mass as a metal slide, but shooting a TM can only be described as quick and very satisfying. As for durability, I would stick with green gas that has a slightly lower pressure than pure propane, but I have seen a lot of guys run TM pistols for years with pure propane and proper maintenance. Let's take a look at the packaging. Tokyo Marui is famous for their attention to detail, and the packaging is no exception. You get a nice matte texture on the box with accents of gloss and this gritty texture. You really get the feeling that you're about to open a quality product. Inside, you're greeted with the gun, magazine, as well as the rail adapter. The foam is custom cut to fit the gun perfectly. There's nice graphic design inside the box as well. That's simple, but overall makes for a very nice presentation. For the collectors out there, there are full HK trademarks on the frame, the slide, and even the magazine baseplate. They did choose to model the 9mm variant, though I wish that they did the more popular 45 option. The finish on the pistol is realistic, and visually you'd be hard-pressed to tell that this is actually plastic. There's no unsightly seam lines anywhere on the gun that there wouldn't be on the real USP. And the edges are molded really crisp and clean. Pick up the pistol, and of course you'll notice it's not as heavy as the real thing, weighing in at 734 grams with the magazine, versus 900 grams of the real USP also with the magazine. But I stress that it doesn't feel cheap in the hands though. Pop in the mag and it feels really nice and balanced. Give it the old scientific shake test, and you can barely hear a rattle. The slide play is minimal and slides really smoothly on those rails. Now, there is a bit of up and down barrel play in the front, but side to side is near non-existent, and the chamber also sits really tightly inside that slide. Looking at the ergonomics, there's no getting around that this is a rather blocky pistol. The footprint is about the same as a 1911, but the grip has quite a squared off profile. The slide is also quite tall and has a blocky profile as well. There's really nice aggressive texturing on the front and the back of the grips that provide excellent grip to grip your grips. The trigger guard is also huge and is perfect for those that like to wear gloves. One of my favorite design aspects of the USP is the downward style mag release. Not only is it ambidextrous by nature, it's also a lot less likely for you to drop your mags on the field by accident. Magazine drops free with ease, and fitment into the mag well is top notch. Unfortunately, aside from that mag release, there are no other ambidextrous controls. The slide release and the safety are for righties only. The safety has a really clean notch into place, and the decocker function is smooth as well. Slide release is nice and chunky, and it's actually stronger than it looks. But first, let's take down the gun. First, pop out the mag, line up the slide stop, and pop it out from the other side. Flip the gun upside down, and swing. As you can see, the slide stop on the outside is just for visuals only, and actually pushes up on a metal bar that meets with your metal blowback unit. It's a clever design that should keep your slide lock back for years to come. The recoil spring has a little section of stiffer buffer spring that only engages at the end of travel. This reduces the impact of the low back on the front of the slide. The hop-up adjustment is located on the left side of the barrel and is actually accessible from the open ejection port. It isn't loose at all and should hold your hop-up adjustment well. Let's take a look at that trigger. The trigger itself is quite wide, but still quite comfortable. In double action, there's 2 millimeters of dead play before the resistance begins. Tension gradually increases through a long pull until the break. Reset is 3 millimeters out from the trigger stop and has a nice defined click to it. Single action has 2 millimeters of take up before the tension ramps up. The pull is quite short until the break. Break is smooth but undefined. But there's no over travel after the break, so it still feels clean and predictable. The USP chronos on the lower side of the gas blowback spectrum at about 300 FPS without the barrel extension. Out of the box, the gun was shooting a little low, but once the hop-up was dialed in, it lived up to the TM reputation of consistency. The smooth trigger works well, and overall, the USP is definitely a joy to shoot. And there you have it, the TM full-size USP. Surprisingly, our first TM review, but let's be honest, they pretty much sell themselves. I really couldn't find a fault with this pistol, other than the plastic slide and barrel, which I'd personally upgrade anyway. I've owned a KW USP before, and though I've had many fond memories with it, I'm glad that this one is a nice step forward. If you're an HK fan, I think that this one definitely deserves a spot in your collection. As always, thanks for watching, subscribe for more content, and we'll catch you next time.